Hello, everyone. For this week's pet tip of the week, we're talking about the heat. We feel it so often. Everything that we feel, of course, a lot of the animals are dealing with that also. Dr. Hunter at Main Street Veterinary Clinic. Dr. Hunter, the heat is a concern in our area for us. It's definitely a concern for those animals that are outside an amount of time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Be it inside, outside at night or during the daytime, both the heat gets up there, especially as the summer continues to wear on.
And a lot of animals, maybe if you have the smaller pets, of course, they're inside most of the time with you in the AC, but not all of the pets are. And them being outside, are there things that we can do like changing their water frequently, things like that to help?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to think about that. Yeah, water is the most important thing, is having plenty of water and having it cool water. And so depending on the size of the tub, how many bowls you have, checking them once or twice a day, probably in the morning and the afternoon for sure. Some people will actually take your old milk jugs, cut off the top, making a big giant ice cube out of it by putting that milk jug full of water in the freezer. You pull that out and you put that in the bowl. Lo and behold, the dog has fresher water and cooler all day long until that ice block melts. That's one source that you look at to possibly do that. But water's the biggest source. The next thing is shade, making sure that the dogs have somewhere to escape. Just like you and me, we're out at a park or something and we want to all find that little piece of shade to sit there for just a few minutes. So if there's a place with shade, you want to make sure that, of course, that's where the water is. If the dog has normal bedding or something, put it that way. And have someone trying to check on them, quite regularly, especially as the heat wears on. And especially if you have one of those breeds who's a squashier face breed, such as, your pugs, your mastiff. Anybody who snores a lot is probably somebody who's going to have a problem with the heat.
Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. So that can be something you pay attention to with your breeds.
Absolutely, because dogs are going to cool off by panting. And we've all done it. We've all gone running, done some kind of an activity where the heavier we're breathing, the more, the more swollen our throat kind of feels. Well, that happens to our animals too. And those animals with really short faces, or again, really, bulldogs are notorious for it. They can overheat very, very quickly just simply because everything swells and it will cut off their airways. So.
And should we concern ourselves with maybe watching the exercise? Like if you're playing too much in the sun or whatever with the animal, kind of be careful of that?
Absolutely, just like you would with yourself. It's a matter of, if you're going to go for those walks, try go early in the morning or late in the evening if possible. When the dogs are outside playing, if you're playing ball, playing fetch, whatever, same thing. Just limit the, don't do it quite as long as we would have a few months ago, just simply to make sure the dog doesn't overheat or stop and let them go get a drink and restart again.
Okay, and maybe fans too. Is there like those big fans, if you have a way of setting that up outside?
Absolutely. All of it depends on your situation. Yes, you betcha. If you have a place, I know some people have air-conditioned dog kennels. Lo and behold, those dogs are luckier than some of us. Yeah. But yes, if it's a place where you can safely put a fan, or if you have overhead fans on your porch, turn those on during the daytime while the dog's outside. Just something to give them a little bit of relief would be good.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Hunter. We appreciate that, and we will head. All right, this very active guy, we're calling him Red. He looks like he's a retriever lab mix, which if you know about animals, that's a very good mixture of dogs, very loyal dogs with the lab mix, and retrievers, actually very intelligent. And this guy Red, he's about 2 years old, and you can tell he's very playful, got a lot of energy, but also well-mannered, of course, kind of right on track for his age, playful like that, which is good for their exercise. But like I said, Red is a retriever lab mix, is what we're thinking, which is a very good two breeds of dogs that will be very good family dogs, intelligent, and very loyal as well. So if you're interested in adopting Red, looks like he's been taken care of before he got here. You can see he has a nice coat, which means that he's healthy. So if you're interested in calling Lumberton Police Department, ask them to connect you to Lumberton Animal Control, and you can take Red home, about 2 years old. So he's actually still in his energetic stage, but not too young of a puppy. So he's actually almost in his adult age, so a good age to adopt him as well. For this week's Save a Pet segment, I'm Jessica Guidry.